All right, here we go. Sorry about that. So let's go back real quick so everybody can see if they had. There's the correct answer for number one. Open circle at -4, shading to the left. All right, here we are greater than 3. So again, we're going to make an open circle at 3. And then we are moving greater than would be to the right. And if we were shading, it would just be everything to the right. Anybody have any questions so far? Nobody? All right, let's check out number 5. Now, the inequality for absolute value. All right, so the rule is to figure out the solution, we write it without the absolute value, keep everything exactly the same, then you write it again, but you change the signs. So it's going to be less than -6. All right, so in this case, we're going to write 6 and -6. Now we're going to open circle, -6. And we are less than, so we're going to the left. And then open circle, going to the right. All right, and like I said, if you choose, you can use your outliner.
Wait. Hold on, please. I see it.
What?
I just, I
Austin, what?
No, I put this on.
You good now, right? All right. Again, smart now. I keep, like I said, making messages to you guys. You're struggling a little bit. Now is the time to speak up. Sienna, any issues? All right, no one, no issues. Okay, absolute value of x is greater than or equal to 4. So this time, x is greater than or equal to 4. X is less than or equal to -4. Again, pretty much the same problem. The only difference here is instead of open, these are what now?
Closed.
They're solid. Thank you. Closed. All right. And then we are greater than or equal to 4, so we're going to the right. Less than or equal to -4, going to the left. Go with that. Any issues? Easy enough, right? Here we go. Now we want to write in interval notation. All right, now, just to make sure you're with me, all right, if you were to look at the number line, remember, -infinity is over here, infinity is over here. Here is -12. I'm less than -12. All right, so if you're ever having trouble, you can just use the number line as the guide. If you are less than -12, remember, you always read numbers from small to large. So if you're less than -12, you're starting at what? -infinity, and you go until you reach what? Are you equal to 12? No, so it's a parenthesis. Come on, I don't think that's that hard. What?
I'll just save it for when there's.
Yep. All right, so here we go. X is greater than -1. All right, so again, let's just say you're having a little bit of trouble, you're not 100% sure. So you would say -infinity, infinity. Here is -1. Greater than -1. Open, going to the right. So then you would say you're starting where?
-1.
At -1. And we're going to where?
Infinity.
Infinity. Are you including -1? No. with that? Any issues? Pretty easy, I think. All right, so now let's do the absolute value one. All right, so now remember, absolute value, you write it, x is greater than 2. Then you write x is what? Less than
Negative.
-2. All right, that's the rule. Now what are we doing? Just, I think seeing it is good. So this is negative infinity. This is infinity. -2, 2. Greater than 2. Less than -2. Anybody have any issues with that? Now remember, we're reading left to right. So I'm starting at where?
Negative infinity.
Negative infinity. I'm going until I get to what?
-2.
-2. Now remember, this is just because you're learning how to write math. Union. All right, union. That means put together with what?
2, comma, infinity.
2 to infinity. Come on, guys, we can do that. Everybody can do that. What?
What's the rule for the brackets when we get them?
Brackets
It's the
are
next
equal to. Brackets are equal. All right, that's the next one. All right, here we go.
Oh,
Now we're going to write number 15. All right, again, remember what I told you. Write it without the absolute values. X greater than or equal to 7. Then we rewrite it. X less than or equal to -7. Now we're going to make the number. Here is -7. Here's 7. Greater than or equal to, number is solid. Right. Less than or equal to solid going to the left. This is infinity. So my solution this time is from
negative infinity.
-infinity to.
Negative 7 with a bracket.
Now remember, -7 this time we say take a bracket. Union.
7 brackets. Yeah.
Bracket. 7.
Is equal to infinity. Or not.
I got you. Again, guys, to me, that is just you understanding, right? How to graph and how to do interval notation. All right, now there's nothing I can do, absolutely nothing I can do if you are what? If you're not willing to ask me a question. Right, does anybody have any questions on 1 through 15 odds? Anybody have any questions 1 through 15 odds? All right, if you can do 1 through 15 odds, then you should be able to do what? Everything else. It's just a matter of, do you know how to solve an equation? All right, what?
What would you do on the ones where like it would be negative, like everything in between?
Well, that's where you'd have to look at a less than one. All right, look at a less than one. We'll get to one of those. Yes.
If it was like making the beat with the bracket be on the outside.
Yeah, we're going to get to one of those, I promise you. Okay, we'll get to one of them. All right. All right, so let's just go ahead, just to put some of you at ease. Let's go ahead and do 14, because 14 is the one where it's everything in between. So let's look at 14. All right. So for question number 14, all right, you're supposed to write x is less than or equal to 5. Then you're supposed to write x is greater than or equal to what? -5. All right, that's how you're supposed to be looking at it. Now we put those answers down. So we see here's -5, here's +5. Less than or equal to 5 is solid, going to the left. Greater than or equal to -5, solid, going to the right. So therefore, you should be able to look at that and say, okay, well, that makes sense, just everything in between. And if it's everything in between, you would simply say negative 5, 5. I don't understand what the question is. Anybody have any? Angelina, is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Right. Tucker?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes.
So if it wasn't greater than equal to, it would just be.
Right. If it was less than, it would be just parentheses, not brackets. All right. Yes.
So the only time I use the infinities is with the absolute.
No, because up here, right? Like if we had this as interval notation, it would be 3 to infinity,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
Again, I prefer. This is why I have a hard time when people ask me about absolutes. Right? I want you to just be able to look at it and say that has to be the answer. You with me on that? All right. So now I'm pretty happy with that. Now let's get into the work. All right. Now we want to write in what? Interval notation. We want to write in interval notation. Sometimes I used to tell kids I think it's better to just graph it than go off the graph the interval notation. All right. But let's see how that's going. All right. Let's see how that's going. All right. So number 17. All right. For question number 17, we're going to distribute the 2. So 4x minus 1 greater than 8x minus 22. Now, again, I keep trying to tell you over and over and over, and some of you are not listening to me. You should not be copying that down. You shouldn't be copying that down. Like right now, you should be on the next step. You shouldn't be waiting on me to show you how to do the next step. If you're waiting on me to do the next step, that means you don't know what you're doing. All right? That's what you're supposed to be doing. All right? Anybody have any questions with that step? All right, now I'm going to write out all the steps, but this is not necessary. Minus 8x, minus 8x, plus 1, plus 1. Yes, you can do a little bit differently. It doesn't matter to me. All right, the answer will be the same. So now I have negative 4x is greater than negative 21. Dividing by negative 4,
So you have to put this on.
x less than 21 over 4. X is less than 21 over 4. Because it's less than 21 over 4, if you're thinking about the number line, 21 over 4 is over here. Less than is an open circle going to the left. All right, remember over here, this is negative infinity. So the question is, writing that in interval notation would be from negative infinity to 21 over 4. Yes. No. That's the beauty of it. This is, listen, this is what I'm trying to tell some of you guys. Those of you guys who can do it without the number line, that just means you're understanding numbers pretty good. I use the number line to show you, right? If you're having trouble with interval notation, everything should be put on a number line. That helps you just see the answer. I don't need the number line to draw the answer, all right? If it says write the answer in interval notation, don't write a number line if you don't need it, all right? Here we go. Continue on. Let's knock out 19 now. Go. On 19, all right? Again, please go ahead, all right? I want you to do the first step. Now, there's 2 ways, all right? I'm going to go ahead and distribute. What? You can add 4 if you want, if you can see that. I'm going to go ahead and distribute first. Negative 4x plus 10 minus 4 is less than 18. Now I'm going to combine terms. So I have negative 4x plus 6 less than 18. Now I'm going to subtract 6. Negative 4x less than 12. Now if I divide by a negative, I have to do what? Change the sign. So x greater than negative 3. And if you're greater than negative 3, that means you're starting at negative 3 and you're heading off to where? Infinity. That's how that should be done. Now, honestly, if you're not sure about that, all right, I don't think you can do any other problems if you can't do that. What?
You can add after.
Yeah, now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the other method for those of you guys who are good thinkers and you're trying to do it a little bit shorter. All right, so I'll put this over here. Okay, so now I'm going back. Those of you guys, I said, if you recognize this, I can add the 4 first. I can add the 4 first. And now it's going to be negative 2 parentheses 2x minus 5 is less than 22. Now dividing by negative 2. When I divide by negative 2, I have to switch the sign. So that gives me 2x minus 5 is greater than negative 11. Now I'm going to add 5. Two x is greater than negative 6. Divide by 2. X is less than negative 3. Or I'm sorry, greater than negative 3. You with me on that? Yeah. Either way, it doesn't matter to me which way you do it. All right. I, of course, like this method right here. All right. I just think it's quicker. All right. Same answer. Anybody have any questions? All right. Let's go. Carry on. 21. Now, this one, I just think it's just important that you're able to look at that and say, I can just do what? Yeah, we can. Everybody in here should be able to just say, I can divide that by 6. All right, if you have to distribute, it just makes the problem longer. All right, so here we go. If I divide by 6 right off the bat, divide by 6, 42 divided by 6 is 7. So 7 is greater than 5 minus x. Everybody see that?
I get right to that. I still get why.
Why what?
You divide by the answer. Why it's like opposite. The opposite is.
Because that means 6 times that. So if I undo multiplication, I'm going to divide.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That and that cancel. All right? Now, here, what I'd like to do is I'm going to go ahead and add x to both sides because I want the x to be positive. And then I'm going to subtract 7. Now, the reason why I like that is because now I don't have to worry about switching the signs or anything because I didn't multiply or divide by negative. So now this becomes x is greater than negative 2. And if you're greater than negative 2, you start at negative 2 and go to infinity. Yes, good.
What do you add the x to? Like there's only one.
Right. So if you want to visualize that, you can say there's 0 x's. 0x plus 1x is 1x, right? If there's nothing over there, you just put it over there. Okay? All right, I'm feeling good. Yes.
So if I would have done it, so the way I did it was, I did the problem, so I ended up getting 2 is greater than negative x. So then I would just change that to x is greater than negative 2.
So you did what?
I got it.
Yeah. X is greater than negative 2 because you move this over and this over, right?
Don't we have to move the sign?
No. Here's what you're thinking. If I say 2 is greater than x, then x is less than 2, right? But over here, I'm adding x to both sides. I'm not rotating the inequality. You understand that?
Yeah.
You sure?
Like, is it just because of the negative?
No, you're not understanding me. Say it one more time. If I say 3 is greater than 1, 1 is less than 3, right? So I just rotated the whole thing. Now I'm going to do the same thing. 3 is greater than 1. If I subtract 1 and subtract 3, that becomes negative 1 is greater than negative 3. I didn't change the sign because I'm moving the information from one side to the other. I'm not rotating it this way. You understand what I did?
So yeah.
Right? I'm adding and subtracting and putting things from the left to the right or from the right to the left. This, what I did here was I literally rotated the 1 and the 3. I didn't change their signs. Right? All right, that was a good question. Okay, hopefully everybody's good with that. Let's knock out 23 now. Of course, on 23, I'm trying to show you here, I need to get rid of that. I don't want to distribute that because we'll get a bunch of fractions. Yeah, so I'm going to multiply by what? I'm going to multiply by negative 8, which is the reciprocal. Multiplying by negative 8. Now, of course, when I multiply by negative 8, I have to do what? Now you have to change the sign. That's where people make a mistake, all right? So if you didn't recognize that or if you didn't see that, now you make yourself a note. Don't forget, when you multiply, divide by negative, you change the sign. So now this becomes 4d minus 2 less than or equal to negative 56. Add 2. 4d less than or equal to negative 54. 54 doesn't divide by 4 evenly, but it does divide by 2, so I'm going to go ahead and write 54 over 4, and then that's the same as d is less than or equal to negative 27 over 2. Remember, if you're less than or equal to negative 27 over 2, here's negative 27 over 2, here's negative infinity. You are less than, so you are going to the left, right? So now my answer would just be from negative infinity to, and then don't forget that the negative 27 over 2 requires a bracket. Come on, we can do that.
Wouldn't it be negative 7 over 2 to negative 1,000? Or not 1,000?
Say that again, kiddo. Sorry.
Like, if it's going from negative 27 over 2, wouldn't it be negative over 27? Or negative 27 over 2 to negative 1,000?
Well, remember, we always say we read numbers from left to right. So we always read numbers going in this direction.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're starting at what? Yeah, we're starting at negative infinity. And then we stop at negative 27. All right, always read left to right. Okay, here we go. On 25. Now on 25 again, I just feel like you guys have seen this enough now. You should be able to say, I want to do what to both sides first? Subtract what? I think we should be able to look at that now. I've done it enough that to me it's easier if I just do what? Subtract 79. So here we go, guys. Let's do that. Come on. I'm going to subtract 79, subtract 79. And I am happy enough that we don't even need that. Everybody's got a calculator. Do 15 minus 79. And what is that?
Negative 64.
Now, what's the next step?
Divide by 8.
Do I change the sign?
No.
No, I'm dividing by a positive, not a negative. So now I'm going to divide by 8. So that leaves me with f minus 5 greater than or equal to what?
Negative 8.
Negative 8. And now what?
Add 5.
Adding 5. F
Add
greater than or equal to
negative 3.
negative 3. Beautiful. Greater than or equal to negative 3. Greater than or equal to negative 3. So where am I starting at?
Negative 3.
Starting at negative 3, which requires a what? Bracket, because it's equal to. But then I'm heading off to what? Positive infinity. Come on, we can do that. All right, here we go. Now here it says specifically do what? Graph the solution. Graph the solution. All right, here we go with 27. Solve an absolute value. I write it the way you see it, but then change the signs. So here we go. Yes, thank you. 4x minus 8 less than or equal to 16. Then 4x minus 8 is what? Greater than or equal to negative 16. Now again, I'm encouraging you to use your calculator because I don't want you to make any silly mistakes. All right? I'm okay. You're good at mental math. Do the mental math then. All right, but don't make a mistake now. I'm not putting plus 8 anymore. All right? So we now have 4x is what? Less than or equal to 24. Then dividing by 4. That means x is less than or equal to what? 6. Beautiful. Less than or equal to 6. Next, what am I doing? Still adding 8. 4x greater than or equal to, no, negative 8. Check that on your calculator. Do negative 16 plus 8. No reason to make a mistake on that. Now, dividing by 4, that means x is what? Greater than or equal to negative 2. All right? So here we go. Here is negative 2. Here is 6. Greater than or equal to negative 2. What? Greater than or equal to negative 2 is going to the right. I'm sorry. Yes. And less than or equal to 6 is going to the left. So now we know it's just everything what? Everything in between. All right. Now, if we had to agree, we could just say that's from negative 2, 6 bracket like that. Even though I didn't ask you, I'm just saying that's not that hard to write that. Yes.
So is there going to be a situation where there's one going in? And
No,
the other one going
not right now. There is though, always. Everything is possible. All right, right now, remember basics. And again, I know I appreciate your questions, right? 100%. Okay, but there are times where we're both going in the same direction. All right, and you have to. That's another. It's called compound inequality. All right, we're going to do that. All right, 29. Here we go again. 5 minus 2d greater than 9. 5 minus 2d less than negative 9. So far, I've had 0 questions or concerns, so I'm assuming everybody's doing okay. Now, we're going to do what to both sides? Subtract 5. Negative 2d is greater than 4. Divide by negative 2. D is less than negative 2. Anybody have any issues? Subtracting 5. Negative 2d less than negative 14. Dividing by, is that right?
Yeah, 14.
Oh,
yeah, no, it is.
That is 14.
Is it positive 14 or negative 14?
Negative.
That's what I'm saying, guys. You're challenging me. I want you to use your calculator and just verify everything that I'm saying is true. All right, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You say it to yourself. Negative 9 minus 5. Now we're dividing by negative 2, which means D is greater than 7. So here's negative 2. Here is 7. Greater than 7, going to the right. Less than negative 2, going to the left. All right, William, please tell me.
No, I'll just say, I realize I changed the D to X.
Yeah, I don't care to do that. I don't care at all. Yes.
Will there ever be like on the test will there be a problem where they're like both positive?
If it's not on this review, it's not on the test.
Is there
Yes, he asked me the same question.
No,
Right,
that's not going the same way. I'm saying like if it was just like 2 and a 7, would there be like 2?
Yeah, it can both be positive. They can both be negative. One positive, one negative. One could even be 0. All right, lots of ways. All right, no. This is the test right here. I'm not fooling anybody. This is the test. Right, exactly like this. I think some of you should be getting hundreds. And some of you guys who think you care and aren't improving is because you're not working hard enough right now. Right? And I keep trying to tell you, if you're just writing down the answers, it's no value. You're trying to see whether or not you understand it. You got to do the problem a step ahead of me. All right? See what you don't know. See what you do know. Write yourself notes. Here's where I made my mistake. All right? Come on now. All right, now number 31. The problem here is the absolute value is not isolated. So before we do anything else, I have to do what? Add 7. So now I have absolute value of x is less than or equal to what? 10. Now, before I forget, I say this every year. Every year, 3 or 4 people forget absolute value has how many solutions? They only write one solution. So half the test is what? Completely wrong. How can I help you? How can I help that? That's just how you're not practicing enough. That's what I'm going to tell you. And when someone does that on the test, I just make a little note. I know you didn't work very hard. You couldn't have done all these problems and forget. So make yourself a note. Every absolute value requires 2 solutions. Every absolute value requires 2 solutions. You have to know that. All right? So here we go. Now that I'm on an absolute value, that's the hint. 2 solutions. So I'm going to write x less than or equal to 10. Then I write what?
X.
Greater than or equal to negative 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
Less than 10, greater than or equal to negative 10. So now let's write that down. Here is negative 10. Here is 10. So now I'm doing less than or equal to 10, greater than or equal to negative 10. So it's just everything in between. There we go. I think we're doing pretty good. All right, here we go. 33. Again, here we go. Write it twice. It's isolated. 4x minus 8 less than 12. 4x minus 8 greater than negative 12. Adding 8. 4x less than 20. X less than 5. Everybody okay with that? Adding 8. 4x greater than negative 4. X greater than negative 1. Here's negative 1. Here's 5. Less than 5. Greater than negative 1. Just means everything in between. All right, 35. Okay, 2 more to go, guys. This is awesome. Do I what?
So, well, it's only, so, like, when you divide by 4, you take the side.
Yes, that's right. We're getting there. All right, we have to isolate first. Isolate the absolute value. So the first thing I have to do is subtract 5. So here we go. Negative 4, absolute value, x minus 3, less than or equal to negative 20. Yes. What?
Why wouldn't we add?
Because, listen to me, good question. This is multiplication. We have to divide by negative 4 now. Right? So now I have absolute value of x minus 3 is what? Greater than or equal to 5. X minus 3 is greater than or equal to 5. Somebody with me on this? So now we write it twice. X minus 3 greater than or equal to 5. X minus 3 less than or equal to what? Negative 5. Adding 3 to both sides. X greater than or equal to 8. Adding 3. X less than or equal to negative 2. Thank you for following along. All right, giving me the answers. All right, now let's review. So I'm at negative 2. I'm at 8. Less than or equal to negative 2. Going to the left. Greater than or equal to 8. Going to the right. All right. Now, since that's the bell, I think you guys did a fantastic job. So tonight, listen. Again, in my opinion, tonight's homework should be knock out the evens. Then when you come to class tomorrow, I'm going to do just like I did today. I'm going to put them up on the board, and you can say, yes, I know how to do it, or no, I don't know how to do it. If all you do is just continue to do the same thing, you're going to get the same grade. Tonight, make sure you finish it up. Finish up the work tonight. All right? I will see you guys. All right? You all have a great day. All right? Hopefully that helped out some.